Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome, one and all. The story begins with the arrival of a mysterious prisoner in a Russian penitentiary. His cellmate found it strange when he said he'd only be staying for a few days, since everyone there is serving a life sentence, but he assures them that he's just passing through. Later, two bullies try to intimidate him and discover that it won't be so easy. Because of the commotion, he ends up being taken to Semyon Korny, the mobster who leads the gang. The young man says his name is Craven and that he's a hunter of evildoers. Semyon is a bit shaken hearing this and says the famous hunter is just a legend. But then Craven proves this isn't true and single-handedly defeats all the henchmen. Using a tooth he pulled from a stuffed tiger, he finishes off Semyon himself. When the guard arrives, Craven attacks him too and starts climbing the prison wall. Not only is he incredibly agile, but he can easily tear out the iron bars and then jump from the roof without injury. His colleague is very proud of the escape, and the sentries can't land a single shot on him. Craven jumps over the prison wall and runs into the blizzard, where an aircraft is already waiting. While he removes his fake tattoo, the guards find the body with the real one. They discover that the fugitive infiltrated on purpose, taking the place of that prisoner. Then we go back in time to 16 years before that, in New York. Brothers Sergei and Dmitry Kravinov are still mourning their mother when their father shows up unexpectedly to pick them up from school. Nikolai is an infamous criminal who treats his children coldly and cruelly. Saying their mother took her own life because she was too weak, he warns there will be no funeral. The car then stops at a hangar and Nikolai reveals they're going lion hunting, so the boys can learn to become real men. Meanwhile, in Tanzania, young Calypso is learning to read tarot cards. Her grandmother predicts the girl will witness an accident soon and gives her a secret potion with incredible healing powers. Nearby, Nikolai is teaching Sergei that animals should fear him, as man is the greatest predator. He's disappointed by Dmitry's weakness and yells at him in front of everyone. In the evening, the boys talk about their father's blatant favoritism and we learn that Dmitry isn't a legitimate son, like Sergei. Outside, the topic is the legendary Tsar lion, responsible for many deaths in the region and now Nikolai's main target. The next day, a businessman named Alexei approaches him during the hunt with a partnership proposal. Mocking his frail health, Nikolai humiliates him and says a weakling like him has nothing to offer the Kravinovs. Sergei and Dmitry don't try hard to keep up with the group, as they just want this trip to end soon. That's when the famous lion appears right in front of them and Sergei seems to feel some kind of connection with the beast. The trance is broken by Nikolai's shot, enraging the lion without bringing him down. Tsar charges and bites Sergei's backpack, dragging the boy away while his father keeps shooting. At the same time, Calypso's parents are photographing giraffes when they realize the girl has wandered off, drawn by a low roar. She sees the lion dropping Sergei, who's in bad shape and seems to have been hit by some of the shots. A drop of feline blood falls on one of the boy's wounds before the lion leaves. When Calypso gives Sergei a few sips of the potion, he remains unconscious, but we see something supernatural happening inside him. His mind fills with images of wildlife while a female voice recites a spell, invoking the power of nature. Calypso leaves the tarot card with him when the rescue team arrives, and Sergei is taken to the hospital. The doctors even declare him dead, but he opens his eyes afterwards in a miraculous recovery. Nikolai takes the children to his mansion in England, where Sergei finds a letter from his mother. She asks for forgiveness for her actions and begs him never to become like his father. Right after that, Nikolai tells Dmitry that he'll be returning to school in New York alone. Sergei will stay with him to learn how to follow in his footsteps in the criminal world. Then Nikolai shows him the lion's head mounted on the wall as a trophy. Outraged, Sergei locks himself in his room and decides to escape in the middle of the night. During his escape, he slips and falls from the second floor, but his new reflexes help him land without injury. When Dmitry appears, he asks his brother not to leave him behind. Although he regrets the separation, Sergei says he has to leave because he's experiencing something inexplicable. Traveling as a stowaway on a ship, Sergei arrives in eastern Russia. His senses continue to be incredibly enhanced. And his special connection with animals saves him from being trampled by a stampede. Finally, he arrives at the place where he used to camp with his mother and begins to test his new limits. He discovers that he can now run, jump and climb as if he had acquired the abilities of several different animals. After chasing a deer through the forest, Sergei lets the animal escape, but he hears a gunshot shortly after. From atop a tree, he spots the two hunters and rushes over, finding several killed animals. The hunters are armed and tell him to get lost, but Sergei picks up a knife from the ground and now that's enough for him. Throwing the knife,